Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. The new way to rate video games because we're the only place that plays them all. Welcome everyone to June 1982. We last played Cat Tracks for the Emerson Arcadia 2001, and this is the only time you'll see this game. It's nowhere else. Let's press forward and see our next game. Right after this commercial break.
Learning about home computers. The family with the Atari home computer is learning
Spanish, German,
French,
Italian.
Languages.
The other.
No foreign languages.
Aw.
The Atari family is learning
3 programs teach us to program.
the other.
We've only one.
They have only
And while
one.
the Atari family learns to play Centipede Star
There
Race,
we go,
and soon,
Centipede.
E.T.
And then
The
soon
other
E.T. I
We
don't
made
think that
a
was on the
mistake.
Atari home
over
computer.
1,000 programs
I
featuring
feel so
the
sorry
world's
for that
most
little
popular
girl on the
games.
other side.
But sorry,
She's like the most sad little girl with a home
Learning
computer.
about-
All right, so this is the release of Centipede for the Atari home computer. Let's check out Centipede, starting with the box. This one is like the other famous arcade games in several different boxes. This is one of the first ones you would have seen. The Centipede computer program changing up the artwork with like a explorer going to get some Centipede friends. Looks like a British explorer just hanging out. You can see it's 1 or 2 players. Joysticks are required. This is alternate play, so don't get too excited thinking we're going to have simultaneous Centipede. But if you flip it over on the back, this is the... I love the back of this box, showing the 2 different computers at the time, Atari 400, Atari 800. Where does that cartridge go in? Imagine you live in an enchanted mushroom patch filled with bothersome bugs. Get those centipedes with your bug blaster. Watch out for the spiders, fleas, and scorpions. They all have magical powers, and they are after you for 1 or 2 players.
The family with the Atari
Hey, welcome, welcome. Let's check out the other art we have for Centipede. So let me put this in perspective. The only other time you would have seen the official Centipede is in the arcades. We've seen over 10 Centipede variants here on the channel, and if you want to check the links down below to go through different Centipede variants, the best ones that were out there is Nightcrawler and Grid Runner for the Commodore VIC-20. But this is the only other time official Centipede was anywhere. Like you could play at home. There is no Atari VCS Centipede yet. This is the first time, other than the arcade, that you could be playing Centipede. So keep that in mind as we play the game. And then we also have an alternate box that you would have seen later by Centipede. Very nice, colorful. That would be more appealing to if you're just wanting to have a fun game. This looks more like an educational title with the front of this box. And then we also have the back of the box with an example of the advertisement you would have seen in magazines at the time. The home computer game that keeps you on your toes, and it does, Centipede. With the example of the system down there in the bottom right. We brought the computer age home. Yes, they have. And there's the cartridge, one example of the cartridge. You can see this is a later version of it, and then also is available for disc that you can see here. And then this is another example of the box, but this is the later release with that sticker on the XE game system. We don't even know what that is yet. I think that's 83 when we'll see that one. And there's the example of the cartridge we'll be popping in for 1982 to play some Centipede. Oh yeah, that's the one. What has he got in his pocket? Is that a spider in your pocket? He's killing him. He's just going to kill all the animals. And that's what we're going to do. Let's take a look at the manual for Centipede for the Atari. That's what it does look like. Dr. Livingston, I presume. So here's the manual for Centipede. Very similar to Pac-Man as in the quality. I mean, look at this. An enchanted mushroom patch of your own. Has great screenshots showing you where to put in the cartridge, the plug-in in the joystick. I mean, it just screams that quality of Atari, that you're going to be playing something really fun and good. Yes, witchcraft, I say. And then we also have the keys over here on the side, the select and start key to play the game. This is 2-player, but it's alternate play, which is a shame because we've seen officially licensed games for the Atari, like Asteroids they brought in Missile Command, and they were amazing. And Asteroids was 4-player simultaneous play. This one is alternate play, maybe to be an homage to the arcades. Imagine you lived in an enchanted mushroom patch. So we have to get, oh, here it is. That's who it is. Lord Motley Bugnut. Bug expert. So that's who it is. Lord Motley Bugnut. So you push the start key to play, reset if you want to reset the game, and then spacebar pauses the game. This is a big feature at the time. You can pause arcade games on your home computer. And we have the dreaded Bug Blaster. Every bug hates the dreaded Bug Blaster. You destroy bugs and mushrooms with the blaster. The Bug Blaster destroys Centipede by blasting each segment of the bug separately. If one segment is hit, the Centipede splits into 2. They keep attacking until you destroy them. They're explaining how to play Centipede. I think that's just hilarious. It does strawberry shortcake vibes? Yeah, I see that as well. Oh, you did remember the name. Lord Motley Bugnut. Press the red button on your joystick for a single shot. For rapid fire blasting, just hold the button down, but it's a little misleading because it's still one shot per screen. So if you hit something, you can shoot again, but if you miss, you got to wait until it actually makes contact. Move the bug blaster about the mushroom patch with a joystick for your best shot at targets. You begin each game with 3 bug blasters or 3 lives, 3 chances to stop the attacking centipede. The number of bug blasters on the left is shown on the top of the screen, and then for every 10,000 points, you get an extra life. So it's a true arcade game at home. The centipedes attack from the top of the TV screen. They march back and forth across the screen until they get to the bottom. Your bug blaster is destroyed if it's touched by any segment of a centipede. Now, this lore we're reading about Centipede is different than the arcade. In the arcade, you were like a magician using magic shots to fire at the top. So they've changed it for this release. I can't remember if the VCS is going to have that, but we'll see as time will tell. Each centipede marches toward the mushroom patch. It bumps into mushrooms, and then it turns and makes another row. You must destroy every segment of the centipede before it can reach the bottom of the screen, otherwise this segment will break into new centipedes. This is so charming, reading about what Centipede is. Like, we've seen so many variants and played Centipede probably 15 times or more, and to hear this broken down is so succinctly is just refreshing. All right, so we have enemies, the jumping spider, the poisonous scorpion, and look at how the quality of the manual is. It's just getting you excited to play Centipede. It has great pictures of the enemies because we're only going to see a few pixels, and this just gets you more in the game. Then we have the frenzied flea, another troublemaker. Oh man, the flea. Just like the other bugs, the flea has a special power. It can create more mushrooms wherever it lands. This makes it difficult for you to shoot any bug until it's dangerously close. It has a deadly bite and can destroy your bug blaster if he touches it. And then this next 2 pages is scoring for everything. Mushrooms, 1 point. Again, done so well. Look at that. 100 points, 200 points for the frenzied flea. And then there's our enemies. The scorpion, 1,000 points. That's the highest one, right? Yeah. Destroy that scorpion. And Lord Motley Bugnut has some comments. It takes 2 shots from the bug blaster to kill a frenzied flea. The first shot only enrages it and causes it to attack even faster. Clear the mushrooms out of your way when you have the time during the game. This will clear shots from your bug blaster and give you more time to kill the centipede before it reaches the screen bottom and multiplies. And this trend we've seen over and over again in Atari manuals. What's the tips and tricks to play? So there you go. We know how to play. We got the tips and tricks. For other versions, we also have several prototype versions of this one, as well as some that were for the 5200 and then hacked versions. We're playing the first one. This is Centipede by Dave Getchrew and Atari, the beginning of June 1982 for the Atari home computer. Oh, nice. We got some of the loading. There we go. So the volume, if it is a little bit silent, you can let me know. It is the pretty much solid arcade-style sound effects, thumping, blips, shooting. It's all here, right here on your Atari home computer. Oh, and there's the spider sounds, of course. I'm going to forget the name of the character we're playing as. Lord Motley of the... I already forgotten. All right, so let's go ahead and push start. And you can put 2 players, but again, the 2-player is alternate play. So we're just going to do a normal game of Centipede. Yes. I got my Atari VCS joystick plugged in. It is constant sounds similar to the arcade. And the gameplay is almost the same as far as the graphics, but the thing that's missing is in the arcade we had the trackball. Here on the Atari, this is with the Atari VCS joystick. Still love the joystick, but doesn't have the same movement as what we saw in the arcades. So gameplay-wise, I would say it's not as smooth, but that's just being picky because we're not in the arcade. But for the home play, this is the very first time you can have the official Centipede, and it feels pretty good. There's the fleas dropping down. They don't seem as fast as they are in the arcade. And then you also have a little bit of freedom of movement. It's not just the left and right affair like we saw with Space Invaders. You can move just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Now, the 2 great examples of Centipede variants that I mentioned earlier, Grid Runner and Nightcrawler, were on the Commodore VIC-20. The resolution of that computer is not as much as this, so this feels like a really large open playfield. Feels like we're getting closer to what we would have seen in the arcades. Oh, get him! No, I missed the 1,000 points of the scorpion. Okay, here comes another one. Let's see. Now, the other thing, too, is the scorpion can, like, fly through mushrooms. So you have to be sure to blow up or destroy mushrooms so you have a free shot. You can get the scorpion. Essentially, the scorpion is the UFO of the Space Invaders. Like, the same idea. Yeah, and the color change. Nice touch as well. That scorpion just keeps eluding me. Okay, let's get the last shot in. Yeah, look at that. The color change is very nice. I think we only saw one variant of Centipede that did the color change. Everything else was just the same thing ad nauseum. Alright, so for every game we've seen so far on the home computer, while this is the official port, it isn't doing anything flashy. It isn't doing multiple players at the same time. It is, however, giving you a really authentic arcade feel on your home computer. But part of me feels like this isn't one of the best computer games you could play at the time. And the official Centipede doesn't feel like this would be... Because we played so many shooters akin to this or similar to this. And ones that change things up, like Grid Runner is the exact same idea, but they add so much more to the game. We've even had some that use paddle controls to control the Centipede. And then, of course, just shooters in general. We've seen so many fixed shooters that this one is bare bones to the arcade, but it doesn't have that trackball control. So gameplay isn't up to snuff with what we saw with Centipede in the arcade. But it still feels really good. I'm thinking around 4 stars for all the games you could play so far on a home computer. Anyone out there believe this would be one of the best computer games you could play at the time? Oh, there we go. So we did get an extra life. Yeah, and this brings us back to this screen. So if we wanted to do, is that option? Manly's going 4 stars. Yeah, so if we did the option for 2 players, yeah, you can do select. It's just going to alternate the play. So you and your buddy would have 2 joysticks plugged in, and then you just take turns. Or hopefully, like we saw with the ad for Atari, your girlfriend's playing, or your wife, because this was getting more women in the arcades. Well, I'd say Pac-Man more. And this one, you gotta admit, it's not as colorful as the arcades. Centipede in the arcade was a little bit more bright and popped. Oh, yeah. That's great. So the release of Centipede is a seminal one. Very, very impressive. I'm going to go 4 stars. Excellent title for 1982. I wouldn't say it's one of the best games you can play on a home computer. That'd be in our 5-star range. But we'll say 4 stars for Centipede because we played everything, and Centipede is still really, really fun. All right, let's press forward and see our next game. We are still on the Atari home computer, and this is Chicken. Let's take a look at Chicken, starting with the box. This is by Synapse Software. Oh, nice. Another cartridge-style game. Love those. Boots in really fast. Yeah, the sound is a good point with Centipede. Very close to the arcade. Definitely. This is another one we've seen in advertisements by Synapse Software. Let's flip it over the back. Looks like we just need 16K for this one. We can use joysticks or paddles for this one. Bear that in mind. There's trouble in the barnyard. Ma Hen and pesky old fox battle it out as you try to save the local chicken population. Seems the fox has found Ma Hen's eggs, or they're trying to save them from the deadly clutches. The action gets faster and faster as eggs turn into chicks. Feathers fly, chicken squawk, and all bedlam breaks loose. You've got to scramble to outrun this crazy fox. Chicken is a machine language arcade game that will challenge and entertain even the most experienced arcade player, and that's who we are. Yeah, the chicken head and the logo. I love it. Let's see what the artwork we have for Chicken. What are you, chicken? As far as the original Synapse box, we also have the advertisement we've seen before. The other games we've seen, I believe, is Protector and... Where's the other one? I think it's just Protector. Slime and Nautilus. Haven't seen those yet. But this is all by Synapse. With an example, the cassette tape will be popping in, or the cartridge. This is the one. We want the cartridge. And there's also a 5 1/4 floppy disk that was available on. These computers that we're getting in by 1982, they're going to support more and more software, which makes it such a pain here on the channel to get everything to run, because computers can have the cartridge, they can have a 5 1/4 floppy disk, they can have a cassette tape, and to get all of those different mediums to run is pretty difficult. Yes, the robot cat again. Let's check out the manual for Chicken by Synapse Software. If we have a cassette, we need 16K. That's how it... Oh, 2 minutes to load on the cassette. No way. Disc, you need 16K as well, and then the cartridge is the one we're going to play. No loading necessary. The object of the game is catch all the doggone eggs from the box that's thrown at you. The game gets faster, the egg sifter descends, and the number of eggs dropped increases by 5 with each round. You have 3 chickens at the start of the game. Play continues until all 3 chickens are booted off the screen. If you think this is a cinch, try it. It's like, what are you, chicken? Come on, try the game. Yes, kaboom it is, that's right. How do you play? First boot up, get the chicken logo and the play screen with scores up to 4 players, so it does save, sort of save for a little while. It may interrupt music or the demo mode by pressing start on the home computer. You can use paddles, which are recommended, or joysticks. Paddles are faster and have finer control. And to tell you the truth, I'm going to do both to show you the difference, because the joystick, you can't get across the screen fast enough with a joystick. And then player options, we can have up to 4 players can play. So it's a 4-player game, and bear in mind, the Atari 400 had 4 slots, 4 controllers. But this is all alternating play. So it's not 4 people working at the same time. You're just you wait until one person's done, then you switch out. So you can do 4 people, which is kind of cool, but it's alternate play. So we have 16 different levels we can play on by pressing the option key. It's changing the number of eggs, how much they fall, and speed, and so forth. And then we also have hints, just like the other Atari manuals. As you see, you miss an egg, you keep playing. When the egg hits the ground, and this is another thing that they change, a little chick is there. But you have one button, either on your paddle or joystick. If you push that button, the chicken jumps. So if you've broken an egg and a little chick's there and you run over it, then the game ends. So you kill a chick and then you don't get to play again. But if you jump over the chick, you can keep playing. So nice touch. We've seen another Avalanche variant do this, where they drop things on the ground and makes it harder to move around. All right, so we just have 2 different versions of this one. Let's play the cartridge version. This is by Mike Potter of Synapse Software, the beginning of June 1982. It's time to play Chicken. First thing I'm going to play is the joystick version of it. And we get a ditty when we boot it up. Love it. Using that pokey chip inside the Atari, pretty good. Right, yeah, that would have been great, but no, it is just the exact same game, alternate play. They're almost taking what the arcade world did first. So most of the arcade games, there's not a lot of simultaneous play there. Not yet. We've seen some, but still most games are you switch out with someone else. Yeah, wouldn't that have been great? And I wouldn't be surprised if someone's already hacked the game to play it that way. All right, so let's go. Got our joystick in. This is the first way I'll show you how to play this. We're going. So VCS joystick plugged in, and you can see to move left and right, I cannot vary. And if you drop the egg, oh, I dropped it and run over the bird. Yeah, that's not a good idea. But if you drop the egg, you can keep playing, but I cannot get from one side of the screen and back very fast. So you are looking at the top to see how they fall down. It is slightly planned. So if you play it enough, you can get used to where they drop down. And then when enough eggs fall, it says your score at the end of level 0, how many eggs I caught. Oh, I still got bonus points, even though I dropped an egg. Okay. Yes, oink. That's right. We haven't seen it yet, but oh, the thrills of Activision will keep coming here on Chronologically Gaming. Oh, if they hit you, if the egg smashes on you, then you're out. That's it. And here's my little jump. I have a bird that can jump, so I can move myself back and forth. And if I break an egg, you can see that one there, there's a chick, very, very tiny chick over on the side. But if you hit that chick, uh-oh, yep, I'm dropping more. And I can jump over the top. But, oh, if you land on the chick, then it goes to the end, gives you your score. How many lives we got left? Okay, so we got 1 life left. It is essentially just an Avalanche variant, but they have a few things that change, and I would say the best part is the having paddles or joystick control option. Because the best way to play this, like Kaboom had it right, whenever you port something home. Avalanche was first we saw in the arcades, and to use a paddle control is a way to do it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and sounds are very good too. All right, let's go. That pesky fox. Having the top of the screen not an obvious, see right there, I couldn't get across fast enough. But if the egg hits you, then you're down. But I like how the top of the screen has the fox and the levels moving back and forth. When you play Kaboom, you can just see the person dropping, and then you have to memorize patterns. But this one, It's not really... You have to get used to the conveyor belt going back and forth. All right, with the Diddy on top, let's also play this with paddle. So I'm going to launch it a different way. This is the exact same game, same opening. We're playing this now on the disc version, if you wanted to compare cartridge versus disc, but we're going to be playing with the paddle control. That's where this one really shines. If you were getting tired of Kaboom, maybe you could check this one out. We'll skip past the opening ditty, and let's go. Now check out that. Oh man, yeah. That is fine-tuned paddle controls, and now I can whiz across and still jump if I need to. There we go. Caught them all, yeah. So just like they said, recommended, paddle control is the way to go. Whoa! Yeah, if you run over the chick and the mamas, it's just very sad. You didn't save the egg, and then the little chick died. Oh, barely missed that one. Yeah, so this one, lots of fun. Definitely above average title. I was going to go 3.5 stars, considering every game we played so far. It depends on if you're a big fan of Kaboom or Avalanche in the arcades. This would be one way up there. Probably possibly 4 stars, or even one of the best games you could play on a home computer. I'm still thinking 3.5 stars of all the games we've seen for a home computer. But the presentation, like you can see, the company did a lot of work with the manual, front of the box, and so forth. Oh, yeah, that's fun. Yeah, all right. That's it. That works great. I gotta admit, it's one of the best. It's up there with Kaboom, possibly even better than Kaboom, just because of that additional detail of the jump over the top. So yeah, I'm gonna go 4 stars. Of all the games you can play on a home computer, it's the best Avalanche variant we played so far. If it's not as good as Kaboom, it's just slightly better than Kaboom. All right, so after Chicken, a great time on our Atari home computer, let's see what is next after this commercial break. It's time to go to the Atari VCS and play some Activision games. Way before Call of Duty. Way before any military game. This is what military games were like in 1980, or at least commercials. Getting you in a military vibe. Yelling out random, generic army things.
Got the game. Chopper Command by Activision. For the
Yes.
Atari video computer system. Commands firing! Give it to him!
Get to the chopper! Oh yeah, I gotta be playing the game like that. Oh no, see, look, it's not even real footage. How are they getting that footage to play? They had to recreate it, I guess.
Well, get your own game. Chopper Command, and who's it from? Activision!
Yeah, we gotta get that one. And we are going to get that one. This is Chopper Command for our Atari VCS. Let's take a look at the box. This just screams Activision. Look at that. It's got double rainbow all the way. Chopper Command, again, the graphics on the front, I don't know who did them. It's almost like they recreated them in the commercial, so, because they weren't getting real footage captured. It was something was fabricated there. And then if we flip it over on the back, oh yeah, look at this. Bob Whitehead, 1 or 2 players. If you're piloting a helicopter gunship flying over a truck convoy of medical supplies through enemy territory, suddenly the long-range scanner shows squadrons of enemy aircraft closing in on your position. You throw the control stick forward and your chopper shoots skyward, barely avoiding a cluster of multi-warhead missiles. Your response is swift as you pivot your gunship 180 degrees, unleashing a lightning barrage of laser rockets. The action furious, concentration intense. You're engaged in one of the most demanding video battles ever conceived. You must rely on your long-range scanner, your wits, and your reflexes because it's your responsibility to see those supplies get through. Take charge. You're at the controls with Chopper Command by Activision. One of the reasons I like to read the box is if you were there in the store, this is one of the things you would do. I know this is a cool front of the box, and it's nice because it's Activision, but this is what you'd be reading, like if you want to buy this. And this is used with the Atari VCS joysticks. Let's see what other art we have for Chopper Command. Fabricated box? Yeah, the reconstructed one. They're all over the place. Check out Atari Age. Everyone and their mom has probably made a box of Chopper Command. And then we also have, the full box, which also is available in different colors. So if I'm looking at the box and you're like, that doesn't look like my box, well, there's a ton of different ones that came out on the Atari VCS. We'll be seeing those a lot. Here's the ad we have for a chopper command. If you've got the guts, we've got the game. And also, I love showing these off. There's always some competition, and if you get enough high scores and send in the screen to Activision, they give you the patch, and here it is. If you were part of the Chopper Commandos, the Elite Squad. There's the cartridge we're going to pop in. They credit Bob Whitehead on the front, and you can see they showed the different game levels, cadet level or commander, and then if you want 1 or 2 players, it is still alternating play, so not 2 players at the same time on the screen. Another example of the box. We'll just show all of them off with some examples of screenshots. All right, the manual for Chopper Command. Right, yeah, the original achievements before they were achievements. Activision was ahead of its time. What is Chopper Command? Your first mission. Don't worry, everyone gets a little nervous. Make sure you carefully read the instruction manual first. You'll be dealing with some very sophisticated equipment and an extremely tricky enemy, so good luck. The guys on the ground are counting on you. Chopper Command basics. Object of the game accumulates as many points as possible. That's right. Everything should be that. Accumulate as many points as possible. Hook up your video system, power it off, power it on with the game cartridge plugged in. If no picture appears, check the connection. And then plug the joysticks in, set the difficulty switch to B. If you switch it to A, then it looks like it's slow or continuous fire. No, we want fast. Yes, those are TV computer people. That's correct. That's an ad for Activision at the time. So this is an ad, if you saw in the background, yeah, the TV's talking to each other. It's one of the current ads you would have seen on TV. So start the game off, get the controller in the red button in the upper left position. Unless you're a lefty and didn't want to follow the crowd, I did the same. Even though I'm a lefty, I did the red button in the top left. We have the long-range scanner, which is your radar at the bottom of the screen. Enables you to detect both approaching truck convoys, friendlies, and enemy aircraft well ahead of time. The truck convoy appears as white blips on the bottom of the scanner, while enemy aircraft appear as white blips above the convoy. Your helicopter is the black dot. You can calculate the area represented on the long-range scanner is roughly 5 miles, and the large screen is about 1 mile. There's increasing levels of intensity. Each level starts with a wave of 12 enemy ships and 12 trucks in your convoy. 12 waves of enemy attackers, and each wave being faster than the one before. It's solid fare for the time. I mean, you finish a few screens, and then it gets progressively harder and harder. There you go. Cousins of Max Headroom. We haven't even seen him yet. Does he even exist in 1982? Or is he too early? You have a limited supply of ammunition, so go ahead and blanket the sky with your laser cannons. You shoot down enemy aircraft, you earn 100 points. Every enemy you shoot down will be credited with 200. You wipe out an entire wave of hostile aircraft, you'll receive a bonus calculating by multiplying the number of trucks remaining on the convoy waves times the number achieved. So pretty much there's going to be a convoy at the bottom. You want to protect that convoy. The more that you can protect, the more points you're going to get multiplied. And the enemies are going to be coming from the top. So in a way, we're going to be playing a defender variant for the Atari VCS, but there's really no one to rescue. It's just defense, protecting what's on the ground. Yeah, everything's score attack. Look how many times they talk about score. You have helicopter reserves, 3 choppers, so 3 lives. Every time you get 10,000 points, you get an extra one. And then you'll be amazed how responsive your chopper is to the slightest movements of the joystick. Pushing it up causes your helicopter to climb. Pulling it back makes your craft descend. Right and left will guide your gunship's horizontal motion. After flying in one direction, notice the joystick in the opposite direction will cause an immediate 180 turn. So yes, it is very easy to control this. Done very well. Remember, don't be too aggressive at first. Keep your chopper on the left side of the screen facing right and size up the situation. This will give you time to better recognize enemy tactics. So again, giving us the tips, even Activision is. And if you want to, there it is, the Chopper Commandos. If you score 10,000 points or more on the cadet level, you'll be eligible to join the prestigious organization. Just send us a picture of your TV screen, which is a really hard thing to do at the time. We'll present you with a special Commandos emblem. So who here tried this and tried to take a picture, and when you developed the film, the pictures were all black and they were just terrible? I did that several times, and eventually I would give up trying to take pictures and then realize that it wasn't going to work, whenever your parents decided to develop the film. All right, so how do you become a commando? Tips from Bob Whitehead himself. There he is, designer of Chopper Command. Senior designer at Activision. He's also designed boxing, skiing, and Stampede for Activision. I love how they do this. This is a big FU to Atari. They didn't give these guys the credit, so Activision is going to give them lots of credit. They're even in the commercials. They say the developer's name. They say them on the cartridge. It's in and we even have a letter from the developer. You'll discover Chopper Command takes quick reflexes, keen coordination. There's a strategic side of the game as well. For example, your truck convoy always travel from right to left. So will the enemy formations. Knowing this, you can position yourself at the left side of the screen, start firing as soon as the enemy aircraft appear. This is important because your helicopter's chance of being hit by a multi-warhead missile increase the closer the enemy aircraft get. The enemy pilots are real kamikazes too, and they'll collide with you if they can't shoot you down. Good luck. Hope you have as much fun playing Chopper Command as I had designing it. God bless. Bob Whitehead. It sounds like a personal letter written to us. Thanks, Bob. I feel like I know you already. Yes, wait a month, get the film developed, and the picture is unintelligible. That's right. All right, so for other versions, we have the European version, another one on Supervision, and then another one by CCE. We're going to play the first one. Here we go. Let's pop in Chopper Command by Bob Whitehead of Activision. In the beginning of June, 1982. Oh, that's true. Polaroid would be better, but I didn't have that. Okay, so again, we're going to put you in the perspective of what's happening. There is no Defender yet officially on the VCS. This is one of the only Defender variants or clones you could play on a home console. The only other one we can play was one by the VTech Creativision. So check that out if you want to see another Defender variant. So here we go. If we want to play, we can pick between different game options, and all it is increasing the difficulty and wanting to play one or two players alternate play. All right, so let's push the reset, and let's go. Where's our convoys? There they are. Oh, yeah. Sound effects are spot on. And you can see we get different sets of them down at the bottom of the screen. And I'm just going to go nice and slow, work my way to the right. Or stay on the right side of the screen. The first time I ever played this, I remember wanting to go left because it looks like you can only go to the right, like most games. But whenever I realized you could go left, I always started the game and wanted to head left instead. Yeah, there we go. The convoy is safe. For the VCS, this is programmed very well. It does get a little monotonous just because of the convoys are only going in one direction, the enemies are going one direction, and there's not a lot of variation to it. But this is still an excellent title for the time. There is no official Defender game you can play like this, or a game that has radar down at the bottom like this. Right now, they are in the process of developing the games that were for the Atari home computer. Oh gosh, now they're getting extremely fast. Yeah, the jets are crazy fast. Yeah, the scrolling. Yeah, definitely Jeff Quest is so good. The VCS. Activision's done a really good job with that. The big thing, though, is that radar down at the bottom. And there's a few titles that are on the Atari home computer that are coming here, like Star Raiders, Defender, and a few others that are already available that we played on the computer, but we haven't seen them on the console yet. Gosh, that jet is way too fast. Oh, yes, look at the color in the background. Definitely. If you've ever played this one, it responds almost too quickly. Like moving left and right, I have to stop myself because I'm moving so quickly. In a way, I want to just go like, yes, let's go! Get to the chopper, go! And just fly across the screen. But if you do that, look how quickly the enemies show up. Oh, man, I made it that time. I don't know how I did that. But you're going so fast, you want to just stop for a sec. Wait. All right, and then go again. Oh, yes, the Activision Sunrise. Did they have that in Fishing Derby that David Crane did, or was that a later one? I'm trying to think of the first time we saw the Sunrise. No, the Fishing Derby just had a general background, not the sunset yet. But just pushing and utilizing the colors of the Atari, very well done. Yeah, from a home console, this would be one of the best radars. I'm with you there, Manly. And bear in mind, Defender wasn't the first one to do it. Rally X had the first radar. It was really large, though, on the right side of the screen. And then the radar, though, in Defender was very iconic. We've seen lots of games have it, and it's also been helpful for role-playing or dungeon crawl games where they have a radar or some kind of map displayed on the screen. So helpful. And this one just adds to the fun. Alright, so what do you think? Is this one of the best games you could play for a home console, or is it just a really, really good game? I'd say I've seen reviews for the time, and they weren't giving as much high marks. Or people nowadays on forums and on the internet don't give Chopper Command as much props, but I'm going to say we've seen everything for home consoles at this point. There is no official Defender variant, and so to play like this, scrolling and shooting is rare for a home console. And the ability to go back and forth smoothly, while you could say it's monotonous because the enemy variants don't change, and the convoys are always going to the left, so it's a little predictable. You can pick the difficulty and increase the speed. Yeah, not a lot of variety. Yeah, oh, very pretty. Yeah, I'm with you there. I was going to go, it's not one of the best games you could play on a home console. I still would give the nod to the Creative Vision for some of the titles they have that are similar to this, but it's a very obscure console. Still for the VCS, this is an excellent game. Plays really well. Sound effects are excellent. Oh yeah. Chopper Command is so much fun. Yeah, I'm going to go 4 stars for all the games you can play on a home console. It is a great or excellent game to play. And here's that ad that you were talking about before. This is one of the ones you would have seen on TV by Activision. It's a bunch of male TVs picking up female TVs. I don't know. We don't break down the commercials here. It's all out of whack, but they're saying that they are better or cooler if they have Activision video games plugged into their computer. But you got to remember, you have to have an Atari too, so it has to be an Activision game plugged into the Atari, plugged into the TV. But yeah, whatever. All right, so after Chopper Command, let's press forward and see our next. Our next one isn't a game at all. Our next is on a magazine, the latest BYTE magazine. Let's take a look at BYTE and see what's happening in the world of computers and technology. Now, BYTE is a journal several hundred pages long, so we don't really go through the whole magazine, but this is the June 1982 release of the BYTE magazine. And man, oh man, look at this. The front is about interactive video discs. I feel like BYTE magazine is the prophetic word of technology. Like we're reading about what's going to be in the future of crazy technology. An interactive video disc just sounds just insane to talk about in June 1982. All right, so we're going to breeze by this Chromio ad, Chromimco ad, and then go to the table of contents. Here we go. What do we got? We have the video disc interfacing primer. Learn how to develop interactive video disc programs. Wow, already in June 1982. Then we have designing production of video discs, what they are being used for, building an interactive video disc controller. If you have the VP1000 laser optical video disc, was this journal written for the people that have hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend in 1982? Then we have video disc and education, integrating computer and communication technologies. They're also going to talk about the interactive training of cardiopulmonary resuscitation and using life-saving techniques with computers. Which, by the way, that's what people would say that didn't want to play video games. If you have a computer, why are you spending your time with nimbly-pimbly video games when computers can actually do things that are helping people? That's what it has now. Yes, very technical. HomeKit computers, too. I had BYTE magazine on the show way before I introduced it. I think in 81 is when I started to read magazines here on the show. But I have BYTE magazine all the way up to back in 55, I think. So the magazines were there, but I wasn't showcasing them. But yeah, they had a lot of kit computers, home computer, and business computers. Definitely business computers. Input-output primer, character codes. We've seen a lot of games use character codes for their graphics. And we have the input-output board for the color computer. You can build this interface for less than $25 and plug the ROM into the cartridge for the Coco. How about that? And then we also have some word processing, Terminal Madness, and then they continue their Atari tutorial, Part 10, Human Engineering, interaction between the computer and the person using as the most important and most neglected aspect of commercial software. And then we also have translators, Roger Taylor and Phil Lemons doing translation programs to move CP/M80 programs to CP and MS-DOS. MS-DOS, there we go. And then there's some screenshots of some more things they're going to talk about in the later pages. But then they also have terminals, talking about terminals, programming for them, maintenance with personal computers, how to service your system. And we've seen other magazines do that as well. The Softline and Atari Analog, I think, have some articles on that. Yes. Yeah, I got some behind me. Yeah, there's some behind me as well. We also have an article on Omni-Innovation Navigation System, simulating aircraft instrument navigation using simple trigonometry. Lots of technical information in this journal, hundreds of pages long. Look at that, it goes to page 488. Then we also have in the arcade space talking about Armored Patrol. There we go. That's the one we saw, which was the first-person shooter on the TRS-80. Then we have Eliminator and Galactic Chase. Oh, so they're giving a lot of nods to the Radio Shack systems. And then a game, Tawala's Last Redoubt. Someone did an article on that one. And another computer called the Osborne 1. New DOS version, which I believe is the one for Apple II. So a lot of cool stuff in here. Not too much with video games. I just do this just to give you a quick peek of what's happening in the world. Yes, right? So yeah, they must have started doing it now for Dragon's Lair, because 83 was whenever we get it in the arcades. Very good point, Manly. Yes. maybe they did and learned how to program. I don't know. It'd be so cool. I know the technology obviously is here, and they're doing it now. All right, so we don't rate magazines. We'll go ahead and move forward to our next game. Here we go on the Commodore VIC-20. This is Chopper Raid. Thanks, William Shatner, for selling us the VIC-20. Let's take a look at the box for Chopper Raid. Now, this is actually what you would have seen on the cassette case, not really a box. Evade the enemy and destroy ground installations. VIC-20 needs 3K, 8K, or 16K expansion. Usually we see the unexpanded VIC, but it does allow you to use the joystick. What other artwork do we have for Chopper Raid? What you would have seen on the back of the cassette. And then that's it. Example of the screenshot. All right, let's pop up the cassette and play Chopper Raid on our VIC-20 by Bubble Bus Software. We're going to England to play a shoot 'em up in the beginning of June 1982. Now this one, oh man, takes a long time to load, and we are not waiting that long. Let's go. Play some Chopper Raid by Bubble Bus. Oh, that's right, we have already seen that one. It's the fourth one, right, of the Galactic Saga? Tawala's Redoubt. All right, any key to continue? Oh, the joystick isn't responding. Usually we get an arcade game, it just responds. I gotta use the keyboard. Okay, we are in. Playing some Chopper Raid. Oh my gosh. After going from Chopper Command on the VCS to this feels clunky as hell. Sound effects, though, are kind of cool. It is more atmospheric. It is cutting out, but, I mean, listen, it sounds more like we're in a plane or aircraft. Now, I have the VIC-20 joystick plugged in. If I move left and right, it just speeds the scroll up, if you want to call it scroll. We are on a PAL television right now. Most people would have been plugging in their VIC-20 with RF modulator to their TV, and so this would have been, 50 hertz around that range. But I can already see it's just very slow to respond. I have my main button to shoot, but if I pull back, that's my bomb. So if I pull back on the joystick, that's how I bomb. All right, so if you had a Commodore VIC-20 and that's all you had, this would give you a little bit of fun. I do have, I gotta get fuel. Bottom of the screen is my fuel running out. Which one is it, though? We didn't have a manual or any other artwork describing what it is. I'm just gonna start bombing more things to see if I can hit the fuel. Slow us down. I must be missing one. Is it that one? No, not that one. Uh-oh, and we're gonna drop, right? We definitely dropped because of fuel. Oh my goodness. All right, so sound effects were pretty cool for the VIC-20. That's pretty much what you see is what you get. There isn't anything past that or other levels like Scramble or Super Cobra. But Chopper Raid for the Commodore VIC-20, this one I'd say is because of the frame rate and the slowdown, it's a bad title. There's a lot more games you could play on the home computer that are a little bit smoother, which is a shame because this one was also needing an expansion. We've played better games than the base VIC-20 unexpanded. That's another reason I'd say 2 stars. It does give you a little bit of enjoyment for some time, especially if this is the only thing you had in the UK. But for everything else, we see it all. In home computer space, this is bad. Yeah, and Victor's with me too, on 2. Let's see what's next. Oh, next, just for fun, I'm going to sprinkle in a few other random magazines here and there. So this one is Chromasette, the June 1982, and I just wanted to show just this. This front of a magazine is all typed, almost looks like typewriter hand typed. We do show magazines that are pretty classy, like the Atari one, and you saw the cover of the BYTE magazine journal, but there's also very smaller published magazines like this. This one is right before they just started Rainbow Magazine, and this is what you would have gotten. It looks like just a typed piece of paper. Possibly, I don't even know if it was bound at the time, but there is these magazines as well that you could see, and this is also where you got some games you could type in. So that's Chromasette, the June issue, a magazine that we haven't seen this style for a while. Yes, that's true. It's more of a fanzine than a magazine. Very good point. All right, let's press forward and see our next game. We're back on the Atari home computer. This is Clowns and Balloons. That's right, Timmy. Let's play some Clowns and Balloons. Let's take a look at the box for Clowns and Balloons. This one is the front of the disc box. Nice artwork. Man, oh man. This is by Datasoft, taken from a game that we've seen before called Circus, which is also taken from another game we've seen. And so it's a variant of a variant of a variant for Clowns and Balloons. And then we flip it over the back. This is by Frank Cohen. The greatest show on earth is tough luck for those on the cleanup committee. But tonight's your night for janitorial duty, and you're faced with a tent load of balloons collecting dust on the ceiling. What's worse, the job is complicated by an obnoxious monkey playing footsie on the tight wire. The big top is higher than you think, and the job would be impossible without the aid of a trampoline. You better be fast, because the little beast is full of hot air, and he's blowing up balloons faster than you can pop them. Wouldn't you love to grab him? You can. And if you make the right moves, you can put it into the monkey business once and for all. Clowns and Balloons, an action-packed arcade game that'll make you want to join the circus. That's true. It's just the instruction sheet. Oh, the tape. Okay, thank you for the clarification. It does look like his older brother. I don't know. Let's see. Oh gosh, no. He looks like if Ronald McDonald had a drunk uncle. That's who it is. Still very well done. The last person that did the artwork, it's Ross, that did the artwork on the front, we saw was Tutti Frutti, both by Datasoft. Let's see what other artwork we have for Clowns and Balloons. So the first one you would have seen was this one. So boring. This is the other box. Is this even showing the game? It doesn't even show anything about the game. It's like showing off Datasoft. You need 16K of memory for this one, but I mean, that's the way to go. The later box, so cool. And then there's the ad you would have seen at the time. We have Canyon Climber there, and then Pacific Coast Highway. Oh yeah. And Shooting Gallery. There's the cassette, and then we also have the 5 1/4 floppy disk, both for your Atari. An example of the screenshot. We also have the manual for Clowns and Balloons, which is essentially just the inside sleeve. How do you bust a bunch of balloons stuck at the top of the circus tent? Bounce a clown at them, of course. Be careful not to miss. Clowns and Balloons is 1 or 2 player game, another alternate play game, no simultaneous play. We're loading either a cassette or disc. We're going to be doing disc. The object of Clowns and Balloons is trampoline under a clown and bounce him high enough into the air to burst all the balloons. Not an original concept. The original concept was Breakout, and then they took Breakout and turned it into, I think, Circus, and then after Circus they turned it into Clowns, and then after Clowns it's now Clowns and Balloons. I don't even think they give credit. Man, it is licenses, who knows? You make an idea up and it just gets copied and copied so much. We're seeing everything, all the copies here. You control the trampoline left and right movement with a joystick or paddles. Nice. Press the control key or P to use paddles. Option key to choose 1 or 2 player game, and press select to pick difficulty level. And then you're just bouncing at the top. So if you're familiar with it as in the arcades, it's the same here. Oh, definitely. Well, we'll see the Coco version. We'll compare. I love this one. Yeah, the one, the artist Ross is great. Unemployed Ronald. That's right. Yeah, it's how he appears now in the future. For other versions, we just have 2 different ones. Let's pop in Clowns and Balloons by Frank Cohen and Datasoft at the beginning of June 1982. Another Berserk, breakout variant, not Berserk. Another breakout variant. Oh, listen to that. Wow. Okay, I had to hear it because that right there is, again, on the Atari home computer, one of the best musical soundtracks we've ever heard, even up there with what we hear in the arcade. So props to Atari. The only other last one we heard that was really good was Darts on the Atari home computer, but that was so cool. Okay, so let's get started. Go ahead and push start. Player 1 is in. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Nice. We played a lot of variants of this. Circus and Clowns was available on several different home consoles. this has got to be the best one, presentation-wise. And look at this, we have circus music playing in the background. Can we hit the monkey at the top? Go, go, go! Okay, you can't hit the monkey. You just can go as high as the monkey. Oh, yeah. Plays really, really well. And I'm even using the joystick and it works great, but you have the paddle control as well. And who got the credit for this? Was this even credited for Circus? Are you talking about the monkey at the top or the monkey on the or the one of the box? Well, he's wearing a hat though. He has a straw hat, so it can't be King Kong. Monkeys are all the rage right now. People are finding bugs are all the rage. Monkeys, frogs. Thanks to Frogger and Donkey Kong. Yeah, and it has the English done really well. Whenever I hit it on the trampoline, it works pretty good to send in the direction I want. And if you hit yourself, like, or one of the other circus performers, or clowns, then you get blown up. But by the way, wait, it's called Clowns and Balloons. Look down at the bottom. We really don't look like clowns. We look like we're hired maintenance workers in the circus. It does have that music happening in the background. Very impressive for the time. Go, go, go! Yeah, movement's very smooth. I could even go 4 stars for this. The box, the whole package of a game is really good. Oh, and the monkey tips his hat to us. Awesome. So you do get to hang out with the monkey. You can't actually hit the monkey. It's such a classic formula, though, that I might just say 3.5 stars for all the games you could play. This is one of the best ways you could play Clowns or Circus. And we played a ton on different consoles. Home computer, not as much. We had some we played. But it's more now, even if this is the best or freshest idea, is this kind of gameplay good enough to be a game that's above average? In 1982, I'd still say yes. It's still a fresh, good idea. It's not something that's pushing the boundaries of other home computer games you could play. But it's so good. Oh, nothing with a monkey, darn. You smash into someone. We did play other versions that when you land, it like crumples your body. I mean, look at my my body is broken to the side. Scary looking. And the music playing in the background is very well done. So now it's just up to if would you rather prefer this kind of game, or would you rather prefer something that we saw earlier? Does this still strike you as fun and entertaining compared to the other ones? 3.5 to 4, Curtis says. It is Breakout, yeah. So I'm still with you as it is, since it's just Breakout. We are just so spoiled here. We play so much that we feel like, oh, we've seen, like, I think it's been maybe 30 Breakout variants. Yeah, going for... I'm going to have to say because of the music. The music is what's going to take a notch above, because there's nothing else that has this kind of music that plays. Yeah, so for Clowns and Balloons, because of the presentation, of the whole package, and because of the music, I'm going to go 4 stars. Of all the games you could play on a home computer. It's still just Breakout, but it's done very, very well. So much fun. All right, and this is the game we're going to be putting our game playing on pause this evening, because we got some big ones lined up that we wouldn't be able to get through in a few minutes. Clowns and Balloons is where we'll leave off. We played a lot of Atari this episode. If you could go back to 1982, what would be the home computer or gaming computer for you of all the computers we've seen thus far? And we've even trickled in a little of the ones from Japan. I just recently got the Sharp MZ series of systems to start working. So those kick off in 1982, and so we'll be seeing that home computer as well. The only other one from Japan we've seen was the NEC PC-88, and there's also other ones as well. So yeah, it probably is the same kid. I bet it is. That's it for today, and like I always say, you can still be the hero without saying a single word. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.